The time has finally arrived for the Moro arc to reach its conclusion, and I know there's been a decent amount of controversy surrounding, I guess, at least the later half of this battle, especially when other characters began to get involved as well. And even though there are moments a lot of us may not agree with, the development of both Goku and Vegeta over the last year or so was absolutely necessary. While Vegeta may have been tapped out a while ago after his new spirit fission technique failed, the only hope for the Earth was Goku, and we definitely know how that's going right now. Forget about the Senzu bean, forget about asking Moro to surrender numerous times and wanting to take him back to prison of all things. That's kinda just Goku's character. However, for him to not only allow Moro to gain Beerus' abilities back and pretty much being a deciding factor in getting him erased in the first place, that was pretty negligible even for Goku, I have to say. Now of course we can't put the entire blame on Goku himself, but now that Moro has lost himself within the Earth and is fighting Goku using the entire planet's energy at his disposal, things have gradually looked more and more bleak. Moro's divine energy he's now harnessed being far too volatile for him to control with an underdeveloped vessel, his energy is set to detonate at any moment, taking he, Goku, and the entire galaxy along with it. Fortunately, however, the Z Fighters do have one last shot at this, with Goku, even though the odds have suddenly been stacked against him, still possesses Ultra Instinct and the faith of all of his friends strengthening him along the way. As Dragon Ball Super Chapter 66 begins, those very Z Fighters have finally been healed after falling to Moro, thanks to none other than the help of Dende, and now, it's time to go lend Goku a hand. But first, they all kind of want to figure out why the entire planet looks and feels so different, along with this continuous heavy feeling that Gohan mentions. If you guys are absolutely pumped for the last battle of the Moro arc and want to check out this chapter for yourselves, as always I recommend sites like Viz Media and the Shonen Jump app to always support the official releases. Be sure to have those notifications on to never miss an anime upload as soon as they go live, guys, and if you've been hungry for all of the content we've been posting recently, consider leaving a like on this video as well. It really helps out with getting more eyes on our content. Don't forget to follow on both Twitch and Twitter to stay up with me and all anime related updates like these. But without further ado, the final battle of the Moro saga is about to begin. As Gohan comments about this strange feeling coming over himself that the others feel as well, this strange weighted feeling seems to somehow be connected to why the Earth is in such a weird state right now as well. This is when Vegeta realizes right away that Goku must have gone and screwed up again and not be able to defeat Moro right now. He understands the situation they're in now, with Moro using his energy absorption technique across a much larger scale, draining the energy from them and the rest of the planet, which resulted in this heavy and exhausted feeling by them. He orders everyone to stay off of the ground, as this is how Moro is able to absorb all of their energy simultaneously, which is what's happening all over the world. As we cut back to Goku and Moro is laughing maniacally as he tells Goku that his energy, as well as the energy of the entire Earth's, now belongs to him. Goku pleads with Moro to stop, but this is when Moro, using several arms he sprouts from the Earth, almost resembling some kind of whip style jutsu, or at least that's what it reminds me of, and attacks Goku. Goku, still in his Ultra Instinct form, is able to continue blocking and dodging all of these attacks as he racks his brain for some way to finish this battle while also preserving the planet, but he comes up with nothing. We then cut back to Beerus, who stands alongside Whis, Krillin, and Jaco as he becomes increasingly agitated that Goku hasn't been able to finish this quickly like he told him to. He says that he feels that this time, he has no choice but to lend another hand to these mortals and finish this job himself, as he looks to tag out Goku, who doesn't seem capable of pulling this off anymore. However, this is when Whis' staff begins to ring and he immediately receives an urgent order from the Grand Priest, summoning he and Beerus to his palace immediately. Whis of course suspects that this probably has something to do with Beerus, whom they were told to keep an eye on, which leads Beerus to forego his decision to finish Moro and returns to the Grand Priest. Before they take off, Whis appears beside Goku, still struggling against planet Moro, and he tells him that the only way he can defeat him for good is to destroy the large crystal in his forehead. As Goku turns to focus in on the crystal in question, he notices that as Moro grows more and more grotesque, it begins to disappear into his being. Suddenly, Vegeta bolts onto the battlefield, landing right in front of Goku, commanding him to get out of the way. Vegeta has finally arrived, and he lands right in front of Goku, crushing the ground in a fit of rage. He begins pummeling the earth under them with all of his power using Spirit Vision. Moro's face and body begin to contort as it seems that Vegeta's attacks on the ground are working after all, as the crystal he tried to keep hidden begins to reappear on his forehead again. Vegeta demands Goku go destroy the crystal as fast as possible because he can't keep up this barrage of separating spirits for much longer. Goku agrees that it's time to finish this, so he puts all of his energy, everything he has, into one fist. He charges at Moro, attempting to dive right for his forehead, but Moro attacks with a barrage of arms sprouting from the ground again. Goku is forcing his way through all of these attacks, but right before he reaches his target, he's trapped by Moro and begins to lose his power again. To make matters worse, Vegeta has also reached his limit after continuously using Spirit Vision for minutes now, and Moro has been absorbing energy much faster than he can separate. Goku begins to grow frustrated with himself, having fallen out of Ultra Instinct again, as he loathes himself for not being able to do what Beerus could, and that his god power just isn't enough yet. All hope seems to be lost, even with Goku and Vegeta working side by side, but at the mention of god power, something sparks in Jocko's head as he says, wait, god power like divine power? All of a sudden it clicks for him and he tells Krillin that he'll be right back and sets off to some yet to be named location. Goku, still in Moro's grasp, falls all the way back to his base form after having his energy sapped away, with Vegeta beginning to grow frustrated and near panic as well. This is when he notices that Gohan and the others have finally arrived, and they seem pretty eager to help, as Piccolo goes on to ask Vegeta if he can perform the opposite of Spirit Vision. This takes Vegeta off guard at first, as they'd never really considered something like that, but Piccolo specifies, asking if it's possible for Vegeta to collect all of their ki and send it to Goku. Vegeta confirms, saying that it's pretty much the exact same principle as separating and returning, except now he's gathering and giving, so he agrees to collect all of their power and transfer it in one last attempt. This is when Piccolo telepathically contacts Dende, asking him if he can collect and send the ki of everyone at the lookout down to Vegeta as well. Everyone agrees, of course, and we even get to see Goten and Trunks again, finally, who, after overhearing the conversation, begin to send their energy down to Vegeta as well. As everyone's energy is harnessed by Vegeta, he manifests it into an orb that continues to grow bigger and bigger, as he then adds his own ki to it as well. When it's finally large enough, Vegeta hurls the energy ball at Goku, who does get an immediate power up from it, transforming into Super Saiyan Blue as he once again tries to maneuver through Moro's arms to reach the crystal. Unfortunately, it isn't enough, as he gets trapped once again by Moro and his energy begins to leave his body. Dende begins to panic and apologizes that his god ki is still much too underdeveloped to be of any use to guys like Goku and Vegeta now. This is when Jocko finally arrives, out of breath and with an extreme sense of urgency, as he asks where Majin Buu is, as they need his power immediately. Bulma tells him that Buu is sleeping inside, as down on Earth, things are still looking very grim. Moro continues to squeeze the life out of Goku, who apologizes to everyone, admitting that this truly is his fault letting things get this far when everyone, especially Beerus, did all they could do to prevent this. With their options limited again, the others begin to brainstorm what there is left that they could do, as Yamcha mentions retreating for now and trying to collect the Super Dragon Balls later, seeing how Earths might not be of use anymore. Krillin doesn't think this is such a plausible idea, however, as he reminds him what we said about Moro's energy detonating and destroying the entire galaxy. Vegeta doesn't think that there's enough time to pull this off anyway, as Moro seems to have lost consciousness at this point and has no control over his body anymore with the explosion nearing. Seeing as how it seems that they're all about to be wiped out anyway, they agree to at least attempt to get Goku back, as Yamcha complains about dying unmarried again. In a brilliant flash of light though, another orb of energy appears out of nowhere above them all, as Goku senses that this isn't just regular power. This seems to be a large amount of God Ki out of nowhere. But from who? This is when we cut to see Oob for the first time in this entire arc, alongside the Hakaishin, who's helping Oob send his energy out to Goku and the others as well. Dende then goes on to realize by some stroke of luck that this was only possible because the Hakaishin's God Ki was inherited by the evil half of Boo, who was later reincarnated into Oob, confirming that Oob himself does possess natural god ki, which is definitely gonna be a topic in later videos. None of the Earthlings really understand what this all means, and even Oob is at a loss, but he's happy to help as much as he can, even if it's on such short notice, as the Grand Kai apologizes for the urgency. Vegeta immediately takes the energy ball before it's too late, not even caring to know where or who it's from right now, and fires it at Goku, who merges with the god ki. This is when Goku goes just straight Susanoo mode and begins to create a giant body of aura in the shape of himself about the same size as Moro, as he rests in the center of the master's forehead. The huge body of aura housing Goku begins wrestling with Moro as the two giants go back and forth, but Goku is clearly at an advantage as Moro's body and mind have completely deteriorated from the angel power. Goku is eventually able to pin him down as the others look on anxiously, with him pushing Moro into the ground. This is when Goku's original body that was housed in the giant's forehead launches himself from the body of aura, and in one final attack, and the power of all of his friends and family behind him with nothing standing in his way anymore, Goku finally is able to deliver the finishing blow on Moro, shattering the crystal on his forehead, and as it begins to shatter, Moro's body starts to contort once more as we see him writhing in pain. He begins to crumble as a huge dust storm is created, followed by Moro inevitably exploding, sending debris flying across the battlefield. The smoke begins to settle as the Z-Fighters climb out from under the rubble they were buried under during the explosion, as they anxiously look to see if and how this battle concluded, hoping Goku wasn't caught in that explosion. Piccolo then notices something that lights all of their eyes up, with him pointing to the crater that was the center of the explosion. Inside this crater stands Goku, alone, as he turns back around and smiles to his friends and gives that big thumbs up, having finally rid the world of Moro once and for all with the help of everyone.